What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. And we're back again to do this for the people.
I done got serious, got the ponytail in. We ready now.
This is what we're dealing with. Y'all might hear some screaming in the background.
Yeah, if you hear wheels on the bus, just don't pay attention to it, because I'm not.
My best friend's supposed to be watching the kids, but it really sounds like the kids is watching her.
Yeah.
Along with her own child. It sounds like really she just keeping them in the room,
Which is fine.
which I appreciate.
Just take the W any way I can get it.
So don't worry about these red eyes. All right?
Yeah.
We're alive and well. It's been a day. It's been a day, guys. So yeah. We back on this podcast-ish, y'all. So, I mean, make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
This is episode 5, I think.
Yeah, we're actually consistent doing this for y'all on a weekly basis. Sometimes 2 a week, because we just never know when we'll be back. we gotta get them in for y'all, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I need to get more consistent with actually posting the videos with the podcast, but
Have we not been posting the videos with the podcast? Have we not been posting the videos?
The last 2 weeks I haven't. It's been crazy, but I'm gonna post all 3 videos tonight.
So check this out.
Yeah.
I'm not admin, so that's on her.
Yeah.
I just show up. Sometimes I
She's
brainstorm.
the talent, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I brainstorm. I give y'all that content.
Someone's got loose.
We got a guest coming through. Maybe not. Maybe they just going to the potty.
Yeah.
Everybody around here got a potty. You know what I'm saying?
If somebody else tell me they got a boo boo.
Do y'all kids got a boo boo all day? Cause I mean, you know,
What's good?
they be having a boo boo every 30 seconds, bro.
Jace came in and within 90 seconds he was like, I got a boo boo, and I was like,
make it happen.
Just
And
go
it's like
do
y'all they be telling us, but all you have to do is just go in the bathroom.
you don't have to announce. It's like they have to announce it for it to be real.
Whatever.
But yeah.
So that's where we are right now. But yeah, so hope y'all enjoyed the next episode, the episode we got going for y'all today. And it's going to be fun. Episode 5 in this joint. Episode 5. So let's get into it. What's up, y'all, and welcome to another insightful day with Wifey and Wifey. I am Wavy, and this is Baby. Say hey.
Hey, party people. I'm Tuesday. Welcome to Wifey and Wifey. This is a podcast where we run our mouths about all types of things. Before we get started, just remember to follow along with us on YouTube. You can see how doggone tired we look today. Tired, but still beautiful.
See, y'all just get all the bloopers. Do you hear this? My best friend's supposed to be watching the kids. I told y'all this. She's supposed to be watching the kids. How a kid end up outside the room talking about, open the door, open the door. What you here for?
It's a madhouse. It's just...
Sis, what is going on?
Yeah,
so y'all see why the struggle is real today.
Yeah.
This is what we've been dealing with all day. Fan was supposed to be here at 11, 12. It's 5.
Almost 6. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we have to hurry up and record so we can make dinner.
But
if not, they're gonna start a riot.
That's neither here nor there. Whatever. So yeah, back to it again. Let's do this. We have an interesting topic for y'all today. So today we are going to be discussing letting things slide in your relationship, as well as how to argue, and knowing when it's not the time for that. Knowing when you shouldn't be arguing with somebody, and you should be understanding, listening, supporting.
Important stuff.
So yeah, we got some good stuff for you guys today. But before we get into all that, let's check in with Bae. How are you today?
I think I've already mentioned that I'm tired. These kids are wearing me down. So I won't go too much into that. Instead, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do some shout outs. So I made an Instagram post on my personal Instagram. That's at Tuesday Writes. and basically just kind of announcing the podcast. And we had a few people join us on our Instagram fam, and I just wanted to shout them out because I'm so appreciative of them for supporting us. The first one is Julia_resin jewelry. She just started following me, so shout out to you, Julia. She makes really cool like resin earrings and stuff. Y'all check her out. The other one is one of my personal faves, OJ Barr. That's author_OJ Barr on Instagram. She writes lesbian fiction just like I do, so shout out to my girl. Then Mel and Quan and the Out the Box podcast. That's at Out the Box DS on Instagram. If you have stumbled on our podcast and not listened to theirs, I don't know how you did that. They are hilarious. Go check them out. And last but not least is Taste the Tomatoes on Instagram. She does vegan recipes, and though I'm not vegan, I've checked out some of her stuff. They're super awesome.
My little sister's vegan, so we do dabble in the veganism here and there. So
yeah, shout out to all you guys for supporting. And if you don't follow them or haven't heard of them, you should definitely check them out. They're all really cool people and make really cool stuff themselves. So,
and we would definitely appreciate any supporters, especially since we don't even have any posts up on our Instagram.
Yeah, that's the real thing.
But we're gonna get there, guys. This is a work in process. 2021 all year is grind time for us.
Grind time for sure.
So so we're gonna get some posts up for y'all, so y'all can actually be following some content, some fire content, and go from there. And I'm doing well also. I'm okay. Tired. Gotta go to work tomorrow. Had to work yesterday. My only day off this week. But it's cool though, because my job decided they was going to stop being stupid and we don't have to work Saturdays no more.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Woo! So I'm excited about that. So that's where we are. So right now we're going to pause for a quick break. And when we get back, we are going to jump into these topics. Any of y'all work on the weekends over there?
That shit lame.
You YouTube people? Leave it in the comments, because...
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday crew, leave it in the comments, because we going to put y'all on a prayer card or something, man.
I don't know where my job got off thinking that they was going to have us... They literally, mind you, we don't work on the weekends, y'all.
No.
So my job literally was like... oh, excuse me, y'all. Something in my throat.
That was deep.
Woo! My job literally told us, they was like, oh yeah, every Saturday for the foreseeable future, they basically had us scheduled every single Saturday until mid-April. Like, oh, we just gonna work Saturdays, we busy, the work picking up. But then was upset when people was like, I'm not working Saturdays. Like, people just started quitting out the blue, like, oh no, I'm going back to my old job, I'm over this and that. And they like gonna announce yesterday, like, oh, due to people's, we know you guys are tired and we want what's best for your mental and physical health, so we're canceling all the Saturdays. It's been like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's been like
5 Saturdays now. And 4 Saturdays. So so no more Saturdays for me. So I should not look like this again. I should not look this tired anymore.
Yeah, let's hope not.
But leave it in the comments if y'all job is BS and they be wanting y'all to work on Saturdays when that's not part of your job description. We gonna get back into this podcast though, y'all.
We are back once again. We're talking about mainly how to argue and letting things slide in your relationship. When to let it slide and when to let it ride. Is that a saying?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure she's an alien. I'm not really.
Oh, whoa.
Since y'all are our family now, y'all, I'm pretty sure she's an alien.
We weren't supposed to talk about this. And now
we weren't supposed to talk about it.
Not on episode 5.
I mean, they're family now.
Okay, so
the family knows. Y'all are family now.
Except me. I'm an alien. On my planet, we said let it slide or let it ride.
I guess that's what they do
on my home planet.
whatever,
I don't really want to get. It's
okay,
kind of a touchy subject.
We won't talk about the home planet, but I just wanted y'all to know that fam was an alien. All right. But yeah, I mean, babe, what do you think about arguments? Like, what do you feel about how it's best to argue?
It's kind of weird talking about arguments. We don't argue that much. I think in our whole relationship, we've argued maybe like less than 5 times.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been in situations like with women who all they wanted to fucking do was argue. Can you tell I'm still irritated about that? Like, I'm not really a confrontational person. And luckily my wife is also not. So when we do have quote unquote arguments, we do basically what any like couples therapist will tell you to do, and that's to fight fair. You don't want to low blow and start like talking out the side of your neck, like calling your wife a hoe and a bitch and everything like that. You want to actually be having constructive conversation, even if it's something that you guys don't agree with. And that is basically going to be whether or not you can actually even stay married or stay in a relationship. If you can't fight fair or can't be respectful when you're mad, then you're probably not going to have a good relationship. And I feel like every episode I'm like, this is going to be the thing that breaks you up. But it's true. It just goes down to basic communication. And if you're not able to communicate when you're angry, because when you're angry, you say like things that are out of pocket, or like a lot of people like, oh, I was mad, so you said like this or that, but that's really how you feel. And that's the type of stuff that just kind of eats away at a relationship.
I mean, I would have to agree. And I know y'all probably be thinking like y'all always agree. Yeah. I want some opposing things.
We'll come to it.
I mean, I promise you we will.
Probably this episode.
Possibly this episode, yeah. But I mean, when it comes to arguing with somebody, I mean, be respectful. Respecting your relationship is so important, because if you can't respect the person that you're with, then why are you with them? Like, I mean, let's be honest. So, I mean, definitely be respectful of what people have going on as far as when you're arguing with somebody. And like she said, no low blows. Because to be quite honest, and this is something that I've always thought was true. I don't know if Donica feels the same way, or I'm sorry, Tuesday. I hope y'all know her name Donica by now. But when you say something that you quote unquote don't mean in an argument, that stays in somebody's head, man. It really does. It stays in their head, and that's something that people will think about. Like, oh, when he was mad, he called me a bitch. When he was mad, he said he hated me, or this, that, and the third. And to turn around and be like, oh, I didn't mean it, I was just upset, is the weakest excuse I've ever heard in my life. It's a weak ass excuse. And I'm not here for it. So, I mean, be respectful when you argue. I can't tell you how the conversations are going to go, because everybody's different. You know, conversations that me and Donica would have may not be the same conversations that you and your spouse, or you and your partner, or you and the person that you talking to or dating would have, because we're all different and we all live different lives and are comfortable talking about different things. But just make sure that whatever it is and however y'all get y'all communication through, that it's always respectful, whether you're upset with somebody or not. I mean, and that kind of, I don't know, kind of goes into just knowing when an argument is appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes, like, is it worth the argument? And I mean, I guess this and letting things slide go hand in hand, but they're also different. Because when I say, is it worth the argument? Like, sometimes people may do things when they're tired, or when they're, you know, sad or depressed, that they wouldn't normally do. You know, when stuff like that is happening, is your appropriate response to argue with that person, or is it to give them care and you know, maybe run them a bath or let them take a break? You know what I mean? Offer assistance, or a listening ear versus being like, you know what, I didn't like that thing you did, and I'm gonna pick at you about it right now, even though right now's not the appropriate time. Even though I know that you would never have ever done that and haven't done it the whole 4 years we've been together, but I'm about to get on your ass for it right now because I'm pissed off that you did it to me. You know? I don't know. That makes sense?
Definitely. And I'm going to hear live. You're hearing it first. And Wavy's hearing it first too. I'm going to give y'all an example. Because something my wife did, I was so fucking irritated. And she probably knows what I'm talking about. When we had to get the kids to the doctor.
Oh, yeah. Like...
So y'all, I was so irritated. Wavy was off work. I was at work. So she's texting me, and I'm texting her back. You know, we have these foster kids, so it's a lot you have to do with, like, appointments and doctors and stuff like that. They had to get a TB test, and we had to go take them to get their results. So every time they go to the doctor has to fill out a packet.
Not a 9-page paper every single time they go to the doctor.
What they're doing.
We have a binder that
is almost
that
full.
Has all their. It's not almost full. She's exaggerating, but it just has all that stuff in there. And when I left the house, I forgot it.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember that I forgot it until an hour before their doctor's appointment. And I was at my mother's house 30 minutes away, 25 minutes away from our house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I can just print it, right? I couldn't print it. But really, I was, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I can figure out a way to print it. But then she wasn't sure, like, Tuesday wasn't sure if the paperwork for me to take them to the doctor had already been filled out at the doctor's office.
Yeah, so that was another thing.
So I still would have needed the binder, but it was just like the time constraints.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she was like tired because she'd been at work since 3 a.m., but it was just like the timing of all of it.
Yeah, so it was a combination, and I know I was more irritated about the situation because I'd been up since 3 a.m., and by the time we were even having this conversation, it was after 1. So it was one of those days where I had to work overtime. She's asking me all these questions. I told her, remember the binder. She forgot it. So that was already the first thing. Like, I told you to remember the binder. That was 1. And then she's asking me, like, well, how am I going to get these papers printed? That was 2. And then 3 was, she was at her mom's and the kids needed to be there at a certain time. But we still didn't have the papers printed. So calculating the time in my head, I was like, so they're on top of all of this, they're going to be late for their appointment. And I was so irritated, y'all. I was so irritated. She's like, just go to Kinko's. I go to Kinko's. Fucking $12 to print this out. It
was actually
$13 because $13 because I had to do the computer rental. So after that, I'm like gripped, steering wheel. She's texting me like, oh, so when are you going to get here? And I'm like, girl, leave me alone.
Yo, I did not ask her when she was going to get there. She just told me when she was arriving. I told her what I did. I was like,
after all that,
I called the doctor.
We get there. Did you know I was like upset when I walked in?
I can hear it in your voice and in the way you text. We've been together for 8 years.
That's true. But
I mean, I don't know. Do any of y'all y'all can't hear even in the text message I don't know. I read her text all the time. I've been reading her text for 8 years. So I can even tell in the context of a text message whether she's upset or not.
So the point of this story, though it was long, there was a point. So I was irritated as the fuck. She knew I was irritated. And there was definitely plenty of opportunities to argue about it. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Blah, 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 blah. One, that's not how we operate,
And
not
also
how
it would have been pointless because I have a terrible memory. I didn't do it on purpose.
Exactly.
I mean,
and
like,
that's kind of where
I really have a bad memory. I literally told myself the other day, I was like, I'm going to start, if I have to take them somewhere, I'm just going to put the binder in the backpack the night before. And I've resolved that in my mind. So that way it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I didn't forget the binder on purpose. Like, it is what it is.
That was kind of where I first started. I was like, she has a bad memory. So I kind of like, was like, it's pointless to argue with somebody about something that they really can't change about themselves, which is her bad memory, which, whether that's like just genetic, she need to do some ginkgo biloba, maybe she has ADHD, we both kind of do.
Have no idea.
We have no idea, but I know she has bad memory.
I remember everything else, the diaper, the backpack, the wipes.
Yeah, so that was one thing, and then it was like, just the timing of it, arguing about it even while it was all happening would only make the situation worse because we were running late. And then when I got there, like, was I supposed to like run up at the at the doctor's office with all the kids there, be like, bitch, why didn't you remember the damn binder? What the fuck is wrong with you? That would have been dumb. And by the time I kind of cooled off myself, and we were talking while we were I was in the doctor's office with them and she was waiting on us. By that time, it was just like, this is not worth an argument. It's not worth it. She already knows that she forgot the damn binder. She already knows she got the kids here late. I can't even be mad at that because the doctor saw them anyways. It doesn't matter. And that's kind of where you have to be. You have to be like, well, is arguing about this going to solve anything?
And I mean,
or am I just getting these frustrations off my chest because I'm pissed off?
Yeah, and I mean,
write in a journal. Don't take that negative and toxic shit to your spouse, your significant other.
Yeah, and then on top of that, guys, like, when you fucked up, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, that too.
Like, I could have been like, well, you here, let's all go to the house and let the kids scream in your ear for 45 minutes, but instead I was like, oh, I'll just take them to the park if you want to go to the house and chill for a little bit. I know you just got off work, because she already frustrated. And a lot of people make that mistake of like, oh, I know you're frustrated, but I don't give a fuck.
That's very true.
I don't care that you're frustrated and that you've been at work and that all this other stuff is going on. Just deal with it. And that's not fair to your partner. So, I mean, I kind of guess that with her example, that's a little bit on letting things slide. But when I think of letting things slide, it's like small stuff. You know what I mean? Like, certain stuff in the grand scheme of things just doesn't matter. And when I say it doesn't matter, I don't mean that it don't matter right now, and then when y'all get into an argument in 2 weeks, you get to bring it up. That's not what I mean. If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter.
Ever, yeah.
If it's that important to you, bring it up in a way that's respectful and kind to your partner. Discuss it, have a conversation, and then move forward. But if you've decided in that very moment that it is not important, then let it not be important to your life, to your relationship ever. You know what I mean? And keep it moving. Don't be upset about it at a later date. You know what I mean? Because if it didn't matter then, why does it matter now? So.
All right. So, basically letting it slide and when to argue. What would be 2 or 3 tips on how to argue properly? I know we said fighting fair, no low blows. What would be some more things that you would want to give as advice to people in a relationship or people who kind of arguing a little bit too much or kind of just not in a good place?
I think for me, one of the most important things is knowing how to communicate with your partner. Like, not necessarily the way you want to communicate, but how they need you to communicate with them so that they understand,
Yeah.
Because something I see a lot, and something that, I've literally had to tell friends sometimes, like, watching them have an argument with somebody, like, bro, saying the same thing 5 times the exact same way over and over and they don't get it,
it's insanity.
That's crazy.
It's insanity, yeah.
Because you're frustrated because they don't understand what you're saying, but at the same time, what have you done to try to allow them to understand you? You haven't done anything. You just said the same thing. That would be like telling the kid that the table's red, right? This table is red. This table is red. This table is red. And the kid being like, it's orange. You know what I mean? And you just keep telling them over and over, the table is red, the table is red, the table is red. Versus going to get something orange, putting it on the table, and saying, this is orange, this is red. And explaining it to them like that. You just want them to know what you mean because you know what you mean. Well, of course you know what you mean. You came up with it. So, I mean, that would be my best advice, is just to know the way you need to communicate with somebody.
I think my advice, besides, we said fighting fair, be respectful, know how to communicate. That's kind of like just the big one. Communication is key in a relationship, in life. My suggestion would probably be, I want to say, like, know someone's values and, like, understand their values. But that's, like, even before you're in a relationship. But I think it also plays into arguments, because it's almost what Wavy said. If you're saying the same thing over and over again, maybe you and your partner don't have similar values, and maybe you should take a step back and think about whether or not that's going to bother you in the long run. Because obviously, if y'all are butting heads about the same thing all the time for years, like, what is the point in that? So my advice, obviously, is to just break up and stop arguing.
Not break up.
Break up. End it.
And then she's talking about values, but I'll also say know your partner's background.
Yeah.
And of course, when you first get with somebody, this is not going to be, not saying that you can't use the advice and absorb it and take it in, but this is definitely going to be more for people that have been together for a while on the background thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you first get with somebody, you're still learning. But if you've been with somebody for a little while, you should know their background. Because, I mean, me and Donica grew up completely different. So the things that she may think make sense because of her background may not make any sense to me at all because of my background. And vice versa, because of my background, I may think certain things a certain way, but she's looking at the same exact thing and thinking something completely different because she was raised a different way. So knowing things like that are important, because when you're going to somebody to tell them something and you're thinking like how you perceive it because of the things that you've gone through in your life, that may be different for your partner.
Yeah.
So don't be upset when you're speaking to them and maybe they don't understand you, because it might not be disrespect. It might just be that literally they never thought about it like that because they've never been in a situation like this one before. They've never had that experience. So
basically just like seeing things from their perspective. And also just understanding not everyone has the same life experiences you have. And the way they see the world might be completely different and might be the reason why you guys are butting heads to begin with. So I think those are good tips. Now I think we're going to take a short break. Cool?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back, you guys.
Yo, how do y'all argue with trust people? Leave it in the comments. How do you argue? What are some of the craziest arguments you've been in with your partner?
What's the craziest argument we've been in?
I was just about to tell you a story.
Go
Let me
ahead.
tell you, I'm gonna keep it fairly short, but it's super interesting. So, we used to live in a hostel, and when I say a hostel, it wasn't really
I knew you were gonna do this story.
it wasn't really a hostel, y'all. We just used to stay with a bunch of my family, right? Me and my family are super close. Donica's family is not as close, so we've always been around my family more. So we used to stay. It used to be me, Donica, my older cousin, her son, my other cousin's ex-girlfriend also used to stay with us.
And your
he would
cousin
also be over there all the time because
and
that was
your
his
older
ex-girlfriend.
cousin's best friend.
And then my older cousin's best friend started living with us out the blue because she got put out or something
with the kids she was raising,
but that wasn't her kid. So it was a bunch of people
and us too. That's nine and the dogs.
9 people, whatever.
3 dogs, right?
Yeah, it was 3 dogs.
4
dogs. So it was a lot of people in this house, right? So one day, little bit of backstory. The next morning after this, I had to wake up and take somebody to the airport. My parents or somebody. And Donica already knew this, but I guess she had forgot, right? So the night before, my cousin and his ex-girlfriend, they was in there arguing or whatever. And he's a butthole. We're the same age. So the man's 28. At this time, I think we were 25, 24.
Yeah.
And he just was always over there messing with that girl. And I guess Donica,
I was fed up. I was irritated.
Right. She was fed up.
I was irritated with the whole thing. Everybody.
She was just irritated with our situation.
General.
And then him, because it was late and they was arguing. We had to get up, go to work, whatever. Not go to work, but, just bro, I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to live my life. And she went out there and hit this man in the face. She punched this man in the face. And it was funny, but come on, bro. You don't hit your family. But at the same time, I can't be upset now because it's I know her and I know her background. She would hit her brother in the face.
And have.
But
that's how we get down at my family reunions. It's always a fight.
I don't come from that type of background.
Exactly.
So you don't hit your family in the face.
And then we hit each other, and then the next day we hey bro, what's good?
So that happened. I come out in the hallway. He yeah, she just hit me in the face. And I'm like, what? You hit him in the face? Yeah. Then my older cousin, who we are super cool with, mind you, was like, Taylor, why would she do that? Asking me questions I wasn't in her brain. I don't know why she hit that man. I wasn't there. So that happens. We beefing, whatever. People be don't go to bed angry. We ain't give a fuck. We was young, whatever.
Yeah, that's probably the only reason we went.
And yes, we were still upset, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. I needed to sleep. I had to take somebody to the airport. I got up. Mind you, Donica usually always wake up before me. Or will wake up when I get out of the bed. She didn't. I got up. I left. I took whatever. I took him to the airport. She calling me, texting me. I'm like, damn, man, I'm driving. I have to take somebody to the airport. It's not my fault that you didn't remember. I had to take somebody to the airport. Yes, I'm upset about it, but it is what it is. It happened. Let's move on.
I thought that she hadn't been to bed at all.
And also, I'm the type of person, I don't want to talk about it right now. I want to talk about what I want to talk about it. You can't have done something wrong and then get mad at me because I'm not ready to forgive you or talk about it. Oh, well. So, yeah. We got into a pretty heavy, I ended up calling her, damn, man, I'm, taking him to the airport. Why are you harassing me about this? Chill, we'll talk about it later. And she was hot.
I got fucking crazy. I was like, where the fuck are you? I was heated. At 4 a.m, mind you, I was going in. And she called me and she was like, stop calling me. I gotta take my parents to the airport. And I was like, oh yeah. But I was still mad anyways. I was like, she was gonna take her parents to the airport and act like we cool.
So yeah, that is the craziest argument we've been in.
Yeah.
And we've had some arguments, don't get me wrong, but that one just sticks out in my mind because like
it was so pointless.
What?
It was so pointless. It was
What?
all so ridiculous.
We arguing because my cousin was bothering his ex-girlfriend who stayed with us. Like, why are we arguing about them? And why you hit this man in the face?
But we weren't really arguing about that. We were arguing because I failed to communicate how frustrated I was with living with 17 people.
Very true.
That's really what it was. And once we talked about it and actually got to the root of the problem,
it was fine.
And ended our lease, everything
was
great.
Fine. So yeah, that's the craziest argument that we've been in.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely leave us some stories down in the comment, man.
I love a good story
down below the craziest argument you've been in, how it turned out. Are you still with that person? Did you marry them?
If you ended up in jail, definitely drop the story. Or if you can't like write it all, or for legal purposes, you don't want to talk about it up front, DM me on Instagram, shawty.
At Wifey, and Wifey, hit us up, yo. Hit us up.
I want to know. I'm messy. I want to know.
All right, y'all. Back to this little podcast. Let's end this out right. And I don't know what we doing, y'all.
Oh man, this is
the outro.
Embarrassing. How embarrassing.
It's cool. So yeah, you guys have been here with us for the last 20 minutes or so, teaching you guys how to argue, right? Giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to argue, when to let stuff slide, and when an argument is even appropriate. Maybe it's not. And hopefully you kind of absorbed some of that, took it to heart, and use it in your day-to-day lives. Even if the relationship you're in right now may not be worth it, or you don't feel that it's worth it, take it forward with you, man. Use it in the next one. Use it in that relationship where you think that person is the one and you don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, that's where it's important.
So yeah, I mean, thanks for hanging with us. Feel free to hit us up on Instagram at Wifey, letter N, Wifey, Wifey N, Wifey.
Also, we post these videos of the episodes on YouTube. We just gave our YouTube an exclusive story of our weirdest and worst fight. It was absolutely ridiculous. So if you want to hear about that, see our beautiful but tired faces, hit us up on YouTube. It's Wifey, the letter N, Wifey. Same as the Instagram. Also, make sure you're leaving reviews, liking, downloading on whatever podcast streaming streamer, I don't know, that you're using.
And we usually say Apple Podcasts. We will get on there soon, yo. I'm going to
figure out how to do that.
We're just having some issues with the uploads to Apple Podcasts. So.
Yeah, I mess with Spotify heavy. If you're like on Overcast or Anchor, that's where we be. Don't forget, you can donate to us at buymeacoffee.com/wifey and wifey. As little as $1, and we will be having some exclusive content there soon, so you can also enjoy that. Besides that, we will definitely see you guys on the interwebs, on YouTube. Thank you so much for riding with us. I am Wifey.
And I am also Wifey. Catch you later. Peace.